said, by the power of Grayskull.
Hello, this is just a quick review for the Stanley Parable. It's such a weird game, this. I think it's a good idea. I mean, you know what it reminds me of, this game? It's one of those, those adventure books where you would, you'd read and you'd get to page 10 and it would say, you either go down, this crooked old staircase or you go through the cave. And then if you want to go through the cave, you turn to page 20 and then you continue the story. It's one of those games where, the narrator tells you where to go and what to do. He's explaining everything you do, and he also gives you clues. But it's like one of those, it's like a mystery game. It's a bit like an escape room game where you keep reliving the same sequence over and over again until you can decide what to do and get it right next time. It's alright. I mean, for me personally, it does me head in a bit because I get bored really easily, so I hate having to replay the same bit of gameplay over and over again. I want to keep it new all the time. I need fresh stuff all the time. But that's just me. I mean, most people can handle doing puzzles and stuff like this. You've got to wait for the guy to talk, and then he tells you what the code is. So unless you knew the narrator was going to tell you that, there's nothing you could do about that. It's not written down anywhere. You would have to listen to it. But again, he's talking you through. If I'm quiet, then you can probably hear him talking. I can't hear the talking at the moment, so it's hard to know when he is talking. But yeah, so it's like a puzzle game. Like I said, this is just my first impressions. I might be totally wrong, but it looks like that you've got to keep reliving the same sequence over and over again until you discover the right way to get out or the right way to do things. Because the narrator explains that you've already died, or you could be possibly already dead. So everything you do doesn't matter because you're already dead. Once you accept the fact that you've already died before you start, then it's not gonna, here, say it says escape or mind control. It wants you to go straight ahead. But I thought, fuck it, I'll see what's down here and then listen.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hobbit, of course,
see, he tells you, I wouldn't go down there because you'll end up dead. And later in one of the playthroughs, I think it might be on this footage, I don't know, I went down that way, and then it tells you, if you keep going down here, you're going to die, and you're making a conscious decision, and then you walk on a bit further, and it's the door behind you hasn't shut, you've still got time to go back. Are you sure you want to go ahead to your imminent death? And then you keep going forwards, and it's right, well, you're making the conscious decision to walk forwards now, and then you fall down a hole, and then you end up getting, you're trapped in this machine, and you're about to get killed, crushed to death, and then the narrator is telling you, on the story about the decisions that you've just made and stuff like that. Like I said, it's interesting, it's a brilliant concept. Not many games are like this, if any at all, I can think of. But it's very simple. You can tell by the graphics and by the way your character moves, and you haven't got any buttons whatsoever. You've got crouch, and you've got an action button which is X to press buttons and pull levers and stuff, but that's it. So it's a very basic game, and you've just got to either remember everything that's going on so you can do it differently next time, or you've got to just be good at solving puzzles and think outside the box, and that'll help you maybe get out that way if you think logically. But I don't know, it's a very unusual game. Like I said, it's like an adventure book,
But here was the proof. The
you know,
heart
you
of the
make up the
operation.
story as you go
Controls
along,
labeled with
and
emotions,
each path
happy
has
or
obviously
sad
been
or
thought out
content,
of. So they've
walking,
spent a long
eating,
time and they've
working,
developed this
all
game
of it
in
monitored
making
and
it so
commanded
no
from
matter
this
where
one
you go
place.
or what you
And as
do,
the cold
it
reality of
always
his past
concludes
began to sink in,
to something.
Stanley
You know,
decided that this
if I go
machinery
through this
would
door
never
because the
again
narrator
exert
is
its
telling us
terrible
to,
power over
then that's
another
the
human
story I'll
life.
take. If I
For
turn
he
around
would
and go back
dismantle
out the exit, then
controls
that's the story
once
I'll take.
and for
Like
all.
this, if you turn it on or off.
Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you
See,
enslaved all
you've
these
got the
years, you
option
go
to
and you
turn it
try to
off
take
if you want.
control of the machine for yourself.
But
Is
obviously
that
I
what
was
you
just
want?
playing it.
Control?
But I think it's a great idea.
I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand,
and nobody's ever
there's
done it before,
only
like I
so
said.
much that machine can
But
do.
it's one of
You
those
were
games for
supposed
me
to
that
let
I
it
get
go.
frustrated because
Turn the
I'm just
controls
impatient
off
and I want
and
to
leave
see
it.
what's
If you were to
happening.
throw my
So
story
I'll
a
spend
shred,
all
you'll
this
never have to
time
do
in
much
here
better
doing
than
this
that.
puzzle,
I'm afraid
and then you
don't have
die
nearly
and
the
you
power
start
you think
right
you
from
do,
the
for
very
example,
beginning again,
and I believe
and you've
you'll
got to
find
do
this
everything
pertinent.
again the same way.
Stanley suddenly
So it's about
realized
repeating the
he had
sequence
just
that you've just
initiated
done.
the
And
network's
to me that gets
emergency
frustrating after a
detonation
while. Like I
system.
said,
In the
after
event
20
that this machine
minutes,
is activated without proper
I've
DNA
turned it off because
identification,
I had
nuclear
enough.
detonators are set
But
to
it
explode,
doesn't really give you any
eliminating the
instructions on
entire
what to do.
complex.
You've just got to
How
figure it
long
out.
until
There's lots of
detonation
buttons
then?
to press. There's nothing really
Let's
happens.
say,
But when I had a look around, see the 2
now
minutes
this is
starts
making things
now.
a little more fun, isn't it,
And when I had a
Stanley?
look
It's
around, I
your
noticed
time
that
to
this
shine.
gate was
You are
blocking
the
the stairs. So
star. It's
when it
your
opened, I
story
thought, great,
now.
this is the way
Shape
you've
it
got to
to your
go.
heart's desires.
But it's not.
Oh, this is
This is
much
just
better than what
leading
I
you
had in
to
mind.
the number
What a
5,
shame we have
number
so
4
little
button.
time left to
So
enjoy
you've got to
it.
press them in
Mere
sequence to
moments
stop the
until
clock.
bomb goes
But I
off.
pressed
What
them in
precious
sequence and it
moments
still
all of them
didn't stop the
is.
clock.
More
So,
time to
you know,
talk
it's one of
about
those
you,
games where it's
about
just trial
me,
and error,
where we're going,
and then you
where all this
eventually
means.
suss
I
out what you
barely
need to
know
do
where to
and
start.
eventually figure out where
What's
you
that?
where you've been
You'd
going
like to know
wrong.
where your co-workers are. A moment of solace before your
Because
oblivion.
I think the game developers
I
knew
love
that you might not know what to do.
Anyway, I'll tell you exactly
So
what happened to
that give you extra time
I
as well.
erased
He
them.
tells you
I
like
turned off the machine. I set you free.
we're going to give you some
Of
more
course,
time.
that was merely in this instance of the story.
whacking of the minute on the
Sometimes when I
clock
tell
for you.
it, I simply let you
But
sit there in your office for
I struggled to suss
endlessly
out what I
and then
needed to
dying
do
alone.
after this, but it didn't.
Other
I didn't
times,
get
I
stuck.
let the office
You know what I
sink
mean?
into
It's
the
like
ground,
I just
swallowing
hadn't tried all
everyone
the
inside,
avenues.
or I let it burn
There's
to a
always something
crisp.
to do. There's always
I must
somewhere
say
to
this,
go.
though, this
If you
version
haven't
of
tried
events
it
has
yet,
been
you need to
rather
keep
amusing.
trying it.
Watching you try to make sense of everything and take
But
back
I
the
don't know.
control wrested away
I
from you.
liked
It's
it,
quite rich.
but I don't know if I could sit and play it for hours because, like I said, it'll
I'm
get
sure
very
whatever I
frustrating,
come up with on the next
especially if you
go-around
can't figure
will
out what
be
you need to
even
do.
better.
But I'm sure
My
there's spoilers
goodness,
on
only
YouTube if you
34
want to
seconds
find out. You
left.
can always cheat.
But I'm enjoying this so
But
much.
that's
You
not the
know
point
what?
of the game, is
To
it?
hell with it.
And just
I'm
looking at
going
this
to put
footage,
some
I've
extra
noticed those
time on the
4
pink
red dots
white
in a line
These
on
are
the board.
precious
Maybe they
additional
have something to
seconds.
do with it.
Time
You know, I
doesn't
didn't
grow on
notice them at
trees.
first. But maybe
Oh,
it's
dear
the
me, what's the
same
matter, Stanley?
combination
Is
as
it
it
that you
was
have
in
no
the
idea where you're going
in
or
the
what you're
safe.
supposed to be doing right
I just
now?
don't know.
Or did you just assume
It's difficult
you saw
to
that
tell.
timer, that
But
something
yeah,
in this
I
room was
liked
capable of
playing
turning
it.
on? I mean, look at you, running from
Glad to see
button
those
to
4
button, screen to
4
screen,
red buttons.
clicking on every little thing in this room.
I went to this one
These
by
number
accident, and
buttons.
this is the last
These
one.
colored
I
ones,
need to be
or maybe this
upstairs.
big red button, or this door.
But I
Everything,
enjoyed it, like I
anything,
said, and
something
it's
here
just
will save
it's
me.
free this
Well, we
month,
can
so you
think
can't
that,
really
Stanley,
complain. It's
that this video
you
game
can
can be
download it for
beaten.
free, and I think
One
it's only
sold.
6 gig
Do you have any
big,
idea what
the
your
file,
purpose in this place
so
is?
it won't take that long to download either. And I think it's one of those games you can just keep on your hard
You're
drive
in for
because
quite a
it's not a very big game, it doesn't
But
take
here's
much
a spoiler
space,
for you.
so you can just
That
keep it on
timer is
there
the
and just
catalyst to
every
keep the action
like
moving
rainy
forward.
day, whenever
It's
you're
just seconds
sick of your
ticking
normal
away to
games and
your
you've
death.
played everything
You're
you
only
would
still
normally
playing
play,
instead of
you
watching
think,
a
oh, I'll just
cutscene,
stick
because I
that
want to watch you
Stanley
for every
Parable on,
moment that you're
see if I can have a
powerless.
little
To
go on
see
there.
you made
But
humble.
it is
This is not
frustrating
challenge.
for me
It's
anyway,
a tragedy.
because like I
You
said, I'm
wanted to
very
control
impatient.
this world, that's
If I
fine.
can't suss out what to
I'm
do
here to
straight
destroy
way, I just think, oh, fuck this, and I turn it off. You know, I haven't got no perseverance.
Take a look at the clock.
But you keep playing through. This is the second playthrough I was doing. So obviously you remember the code. You don't have to wait for him to tell you it. You can just quickly type it in. And it gets harder and harder, I think, because the more times you play, every time you play through, you exhaust an avenue of, like, freedom kind of thing. So you think, oh, I didn't go that way last time, I'll go that way this time. And then you go the second way and you still don't know what to do. You know what I mean? It's like one of those puzzle games. But it's enjoyable. And like I said, they haven't spent ages on the graphics, but the graphics are sufficient. This is where I decided just to go to the no escape. Instead of going back into the mind control, I thought, I'm going to go down here and see what happens. And then you can hear it, like, it's talking you out of it. You know, like, don't go.
Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back.
But I bet they had a lot of fun making this game.
At this point, Stanley was
you know, because it is like a clever idea, so they've probably had a load of ideas. Oh, we could do this, we could do that. Put them in this room and this could happen. So I bet you the game, I don't know how long the game is, but I bet you the game is a really good game to play, especially later on once you've got complete used to how the game works and the mechanics. And then, you know, you'd find it challenging and you'd find it interesting to play through. So I don't think I'm going to delete it off quite yet. I think I'll keep continuing playing. But this is the death trap bit where you're just going to get crushed. And then if you listen, the lady over the narration tells you to quickly turn off your PlayStation. That's the only way we can keep Stanley alive, if you quickly turn off your PS5. Huh?
So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
And then you just get killed, but see, stops it.
Farewell, Stanley.
Somebody else takes over. So, like I was saying, it's very much like a story book. So you have an adventure no matter what you do. But because there's lack of buttons, you haven't even got to jump. You've got to crouch and an action button. Like, it's not about the graphics. It's all about the gameplay and about being stuck in these puzzle rooms, escape rooms, and you're trying to get out, and it's like narrated very cleverly to incorporate the decisions that you make. It's like they've thought of everything, and I like this little touch here as well. You come in, it looks like an art museum, but when you get closer, those things on your left hand side now, when I spin the camera around, it's actually the credits of the game developers set out like art pieces. So they've like incorporated that into like a museum setting. I think that's a good idea. There, look, there's the maintenance platform, and it's like things from the game that you've already experienced. I think that's a nice little clever touch. But again, there's no real direction from the game of what you should be doing. So you're going to spend a lot of the time just walking around, exploring, pressing random buttons, just trying to remember what to do. See, and you'll find the way eventually.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to
and it just continues from there. But I really enjoyed playing it even for the 20 minutes. And it's free to download, like I say. So there's no reason why you shouldn't go and download it.
Can you see how much they need one another?
See there?
No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. But listen to me. You can still save those two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Turn on